Coming up on 5 Minute News. McCarthy voted down multiple times in bid for House Speaker. Iran frees actress jailed over anti-government protests. And evacuations as California weathers bomb cyclone. It's Thursday, January 5. I'm Anthony Davis. House Republicans flailed through a long second day of fruitless balloting on Wednesday, unable to either elect their leader, Kevin McCarthy, as House Speaker or come up with a new strategy to end the political chaos that has tarnished the start of their new majority. McCarthy, though, wasn't giving up. Even after the 4th, 5th and even 6th ballots produced no better outcome, and he was left trying to call off a nighttime session. Even that was controversial, as the House voted 216 to 214 amid shouting to adjourn for the night. No deal yet, McCarthy said shortly before that, as he left a lengthy closed-door dinner-time meeting with key holdouts and his own allies. No progress at all was evident through the day of vote after vote after vote, as Republicans tried to elevate McCarthy into the top job. The ballots were producing almost the same outcome, 20 conservative holdouts still refusing to support him and leaving him far short of the 218 typically needed to win the gavel. In fact, McCarthy saw his support slip to 201, as one fellow Republican switched to a vote of simply present. It was the first time in 100 years that a nominee for House Speaker could not take the gavel on the first vote. The disorganized start to the new Congress pointed to difficulties ahead with Republicans now in control of the House. President Joe Biden, departing the White House for a bipartisan event in Kentucky with Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell, said, "The rest of the world is looking at the scene on the House floor. I just think it's really embarrassing it's taking so long," Biden said. "I have no idea who will prevail." Iran has released Iranian actress Taraneh Al-Dosti on bail, state media reported yesterday, weeks after she was detained for criticizing a crackdown on anti-government protests that have rocked the Islamic Republic for months. Best known for her role in The Salesman, which won an Academy Award in 2017, the pro-reform artist Al-Dosti had supported the protests, including by posting her picture on Instagram in November without the compulsory hijab head covering, and holding up a sign which read "Women, Life, Freedom" in Kurdish, a popular slogan in the mass protests. Her picture, taken in front of Tehran's notorious Evin prison, was widely shared on social media. The protest, sparked by the death of a young Kurdish woman while in the custody of the morality police, have posed one of the biggest legitimacy challenges to the Shiite Muslim-ruled Islamic Republic since the 1979 revolution. Since Amini's death, protesters from all walks of life have taken to the streets, calling for the downfall of the country's clerical rulers, with women taking off and burning their headscarves in fury across the country. Dozens of female Iranian actresses and artists have posted pictures of themselves without the compulsory hijab in solidarity with the demonstrations in which women have played a leading role. Facing their worst legitimacy crisis in the past 4 decades, Iran's clerical rulers have accused a coalition of anarchists, terrorists, and foreign foes of orchestrating the protests. As a huge storm approached California on Wednesday, officials began ordering evacuations in high-risk coastal areas where mudslides killed 23 people in 2018, while residents elsewhere in the state scrambled to find sandbags and brace themselves for flooding and power outages. California Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency and to aid in cleanup from another powerful storm just days earlier. Dozens of flights were cancelled at the San Francisco International Airport, and South San Francisco schools preemptively cancelled Thursday's classes. As the storm intensified, state officials warned residents in Northern California to stay off the roads. The first evacuations were ordered for those living in the burn-scar areas of 3 recent wildfires in Santa Barbara County, where heavy rain was expected overnight, with the potential to cause widespread flooding and unleash debris flows in several areas. In Northern California, a stretch of Highway 101 was closed between the towns of Trinidad and Oric due to several downed trees. The storm is one of 3 so-called atmospheric river storms in the last week to reach the drought-stricken state. Because the state's major reservoirs are at a record low from a dry 3-year period, they have plenty of room to fill with more water from the impending storm. Still, trees are already stressed from years of limited rain. Now that the grounds are suddenly saturated and winds are heavy, trees are more likely to fall. That could cause widespread power outages or create flood hazards, said Carla Nemeth, director of the state's Department of Water Resources. We are in the middle of a flood emergency and also in the middle of a drought emergency, she said during an emergency briefing. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.